everybody, and welcome to round 2 of the Torpedo League GT Sport Series. We're at Monza for this week's event. One of the fastest circuits in the world, very much a low downforce circuit, more top speed, and it is the first official track that we're going to. If you missed round 1, then you will know that we were at the Blue Moon Bay Speedway for 1 hour, which is an oval track, and it was Buller who was our race winner in that race, as he and Charlie seem to be doing something. I don't know what they're doing, but Buller's got massive amounts of damage. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing, but anyway, regardless of that, Buller, you're looking at him, he was our race winner for round 1, so he's a championship leader. Of course, it is a standard F1 style points with 25 points for the winner, and so on and so forth, and a point for fast lap. But we're here for round 2 at the Monza circuit. I don't know what's going on, why drivers are facing the wrong way, but it's looking to be a good race. We're actually at an official track finally, so strategy is going to be very important here. It is an endurance race to any new viewer, a 1 hour race with 50 minutes qualifying. As we are currently in qualifying right now, as Jackson is just stopped on track and Shap is, I don't know what he's doing actually. I don't even know if there's a lag or not, to be honest. But oh, this is even in qualifying. Oh my goodness. That's how they were just messing about. I feel like an idiot now. But qualifying is sure to be fun as bunnies with a nice crash there to get us underway. Yes, as you can see, the screen qualifies will last 15 minutes, so drivers can set as many laps as they want within the 15-minute mark, as Tim and Robert are the first 2 drivers out on track in their customaries, with Tom Coronel right behind him. 3 Dutch guys out on track first, so they'll have track position. But slipstream is as a very important in this circuit, so the drivers will be looking to take advantage of that to try and get a good starting position. As Robert, I believe, was the pole sitter last time out, but he somehow managed to reverse off the line, which is very impressive, as they both miss the chicane. Very interesting. But yeah, and yeah, it looks like Robert did have some damage at the rear of his car, but that will sort itself out. So yeah, the rules I saw is just it's a 50-minute qualifying followed by a 1 hour endurance race. Pit stops are on. In an oval, the pit stops were pretty easy, but well, strategy was easier on the, but around Monza, the first official track we're going to, strategy is going to be a bit more difficult. Each driver is going to have to guess pick the right. Actually, no, I believe there's only one. I believe that only the soft tires are in play for this race, so it's about who can manage the fuel the best. I believe, as Robert's got a 1 second penalty which he can serve before his. Yeah, he said that easily. Yeah, it's only the soft tires are in play for this race. So drivers are pretty much. I mean, strategy. I said it was important. It's not really going to be that important. Maybe fuel saving is going to be the bigger thing. If drivers can get away with 1 less stop, as we're on board with Robert, is on his lap going for the parabolica now. As he starts laps, so we're going to go on board with him. In if I had to change the camera, which I don't. Oh yes. So we're going to go on board in the cockpit as we go through turn 1. Braking just after the 150-meter board. He takes turn 1 quite well actually, so important not to get too much curb because you lose a lot of time. In third gear in his, I believe, Volkswagen Beetle, I believe. Don't quote me on that. As we go around the Curva Grande, 5th gear, 210, I believe, kilometers an hour. Because these are all Group 3 cars, so top speed is high, but not as high as other cars, of course. He's set to 36.2 for the first set, and he runs wide. Ooh, that lap is gonna cost him there. But luckily he's got 12 minutes to go, so he'll be alright. He's got a 5 when he runs right through Lesmo 1 is on the gravel, so that lap is gonna have to be, it's not gonna be a truly representative lap, so he'll have to abort that one and go again. As yes, there's 15 minutes, so drivers make a mistake, they can always go for another lap. Oh, dearie me, I really apologize for this. To go for a Ascari now. Takes that very well, actually. Yeah, Robert did qualify in pole in the first round, so I'm sure we'll be looking to get a similar starting position. As it goes to the parabolic at the final corner, there's a Tom Coronel, so it's a 149.391. Sure, drivers can go a lot more faster than that, as Jackson sets a 151.1 and Robert sets a 150.2, but he can go a hell of a lot faster. The first few laps, drivers are going to be making quite a few mistakes. So yeah, as Miguel sets a 149.5 and Tim sets a 150.1, so it's all. It is an all Dutch 1, 2, 3, 4, despite Tim's flag being British. He's in fact Dutch with a very nice livery, might I add. It is a Dutch 1, 2, 3, 4 right now, and Jackson is in P5, but he sets the fastest sector 1 of everybody. He navigates that corner quite well, actually. He's going to go through Lesmo 1 right now. Ooh, there's a big slide there. Very big slide there in his Williams team livery. A couple of drivers on the grid have Williams team livery, Jackson, Buller and Charlie, who are in P5, 6 and 7, as Buller also sets the fastest sector 1, so times will be tumbling as we get further and further into the session. The drivers will be learning the track more. There's Jackson sets the fastest sector 2 as well. Ooh, there's a big slide there for Jackson, and the lap's been aborted. He'll have to abort. That's not good. He'll have to abort the lap and go again soon. Yeah, he got a penalty for that, which is not good. The tyre wear is really quite bad actually around here. Soft tyres, so yeah, he slows down. As Buller sets a personal best sector 2, and he navigates Ascari much better than Jackson does. So Buller, the race winner, he cuts a bit there. Buller was the race winner in the last round, so we'll be looking to, as he gets a penalty too, we're looking to build on the championship lead, because Robert sets a 148.9 as Jackson is in the pits for some fresh softs. Robert sets a 148.9 and he's so far the only driver in the 148, and he is on provisional pole. And Tim Coronel sets a 149.7 as Charlie comes out of the pits. Now Bullet sets a 150.3. And oh, so many drivers in the lap as Bunny's coming round the parabolic right now. And then Aston Martin, very, very nice livery, might I add. 145, 147, 148. As Bunny's has set a 148.8 and is currently on provisional pole. Bunny's unfortunately didn't have a good round last time, and we'll be looking for a better result this time. Yeah, I'm sure you'll be looking to do better. And he's currently on provisional pole, but there's 8 minutes to go. Drivers will get better. The track will become more grippier, so expect the times to be falling as the session goes on. The track becomes more rubbing in. As C1 sets a 150.9, and that puts him in P8 as we're on board with Bullet on his lap. Coming up to the Ascari chicane. I really should know the names of these corners, but I really don't, so I apologise. Yeah, Bullet, the championship leader, he's 8.5 tenths down on his personal best sector 2, so it's unlikely to see an improvement from him. As Tom is into the pits for some new softs, he probably won't have to fill up, because as Robert sets a 148.3 to go back onto provisional pole. But it does set a 150.2, so he does improve in his time. And that does put him in P6, as we have Miguel, who's... And Shaps at a 150.8, that puts him up in P7, as Miguel is starting his lap now. Brakes between... So brakes about 125 meters. He navigates the first corner quite well, which I should know the name of this corner, but... embarrassingly, I don't. As it goes around the Curva Grande. Miguel got a P4, solid P4, around Blue and Bay Speedway, so maybe she'll be aiming for a podium as he sets the fastest sector 1 with a 36.0, navigates that corner very well. Again, I should know the name of it, and I really do apologise. As we go through Lesmo 1, does he navigate it well? Ooh, he does navigate just about. Go through Lesmo 2, navigates that quite well. He's got the car of Bullet ahead of him. Bullet currently P6, but Miguel, his personal best is a 149.9. The lap to be is a 148.8. So can Miguel launch his way into the 48 to maybe onto provisional pole? He set a personal best sector 2. Does he navigate to Ascari quite well actually? Very nice area from Miguel. The logos are a bit questionable, but we will move on. As he gets a 5/10 penalty, unfortunately. As Jackson sets a 148.7. And Miguel runs wide through Parabolica. As Charlie sets a 148.9 as Bunnies is into the wall at just before Lesmo 1, I believe. I don't know where he's gone, but as Tim sets a 149.4, that moves him into P6. Well, I don't know if that moves him into P6. Is that his personal best? That is his personal best, so he'll be looking to improve. As we have 4 minutes to go in the session. Tim is unfortunately slowing down, so yeah, we still have 4 minutes to go, so I'm sure he'll be able to do about... Ooh, I don't know if he'll be able to do 2 more runs, I think. As Bunnies has got going the right way again. That's good. There's not many drivers have been saying laps right now, so I do apologise for the quietness. Commentary, but not many drivers are on laps. Well, C1's on a lap right now in his Toyota. What make it is I don't know, as Yano and Swifty are both in the pits for some reason. Maybe Yano doesn't want to qualify, who knows, and Swifty maybe doesn't want to qualify either. As Robert starts his lap now and Jackson is into the pits. As we now have Bunnies, hopefully joining us, if he can hear me. Hello, Bunny. I'm going to call you Adrian because I know you as Adrian. You're currently in P3. How is your qualifying going? You're currently in P3 right now. How do you think your qualifying is going? Well, you're just under 5/10 away from pole position, which is a 148.3. Do you think you can get that time? Alright. And what are your hopes for the race? We saw in round 1 you didn't have the best of races, shall I say, but what are your aims going into the race soon? Yeah, it was. Okay, alright. Well, there are just under 2 minutes to go, so I'm sure you won't be setting a competitive lap, so I will leave you to it, and good luck. And that was Bunnies I was just talking to, or Adrian, as the rest of us know him. Yeah, he unfortunately didn't have a great race around Bloom Bay Speedway. I think he came either last or second to last, so currently in P3, so... yeah, I think he'll be very, very happy with that as he runs right with Parabolica, and there's only 1 minute and 23 seconds to go, so he will only get one more lap in as we go on board with Jackson, who is currently just under 4/10 away from pole position. What can he do in his car? As you see, the Black Lives Matter symbol on his car. Black lives do matter, of course, but we won't get too political right now. As Tim sets a 148.9, that puts in P4. Below the 149.9 puts him in P8 as Jackson goes on the Curva Grande, and he is set to 135.7, and that is the fastest sector one that we've seen so far. So Jackson is on a charge right now. He is going to want that pole position. He goes around Relesma 1, he navigates that very well. Turns in just the right time, takes just enough speed as his brake marker board out of position, but we'll ignore that. As it goes through Lesmo 2, looks all very nice as it goes onto the back straight. For the final time this qualifying, there's only 20 seconds to go, there or thereabouts. It's coming up to Jackson, coming up to Ascari. Does he brake on time? He sets a personal best sector 2, so Jackson right now is looking good for pole position, which would be good for him. Jackson had a very disappointing race at Bloom Bay Speedway last time. He was in the fight for the podium position, but unfortunately just fell off. As yes, the time has run out, so drivers are gonna finish this lap, and that's it. As Jackson comes through Parabolica now, he set the fast sector 1 and sector 2. He's got the station seal behind, but can he go into pole position? He crosses the line and sets a 148.2, and he is currently provisional pole. As Charlie sets a 140.2 as well, and that puts him in P2. So it's a Britain 1-2 right now. That is a very good lap from both of them. Charlie was very, very close to pole position there. As Robert did not improve, and Adrian is not going to improve either. And Tim has got a penalty. What can he do? He sets a 149.2, so he's not going to get pole position. Buller sets a 148.2 as well, so you have 3 drivers setting 148.2s, and it's all British 1, 2, 3, and Miguel sets a 148.8, and that puts him in P6 right now. As it's only Shap who's on his final lap, but is not going to improve. So it looks like Jackson is your pole sitter with Charlie in P2, Bullet in P3, Robin in P4, Bunnies in P5, Miguel in P6, Tim in P7, Tom in P8, Shap in P9, C1 in P10, Yana in P11, who is... I don't know what that was, to be honest, and Swifty is in P12. And that is your... And unless I'm missing something, I don't know why we're all still here. Well, this is your order for the race anyway. As if anyone is watching, I do apologize for this delay. I don't know what's going on. I think there's a problem with the game, to be honest. Yeah, I really can't explain what's going on. Oh, the qualifiers finally ended. Alright, so as you can see, your that is the results for the qualifying. As we are now ready for the 1 hour endurance race on Monza, the fastest, one of the fastest circuits. It's the fastest circuit in the F1 calendar, one of the fastest circuits in the world. Little to no downforce and maximum top speed. It's going to be fun just seeing these drivers push the whole way as the red lights go out. I think I do apologize. Hold on. Get this plate all. The lights are out, hopefully. I don't know what's going on, to be honest. 2, 1, as Jan has left the room, unfortunately, so the race is underway, and Jackson gets a very good start from P1. Charlie has stayed in P2. Looks like Miguel's got a fantastic start, and he's up into P3. Brilliant start from Miguel. As you now go through to the turn 1, as Charlie dives it down the inside of Jackson, but he doesn't quite manage to do it, as Jackson stays in the lead as Charlie is in P2. Boy, he's got a 1 second penalty for cutting the first corner. And we have Bunnies in P3, Buller in P4, and Robert is all over the back of him in P5. Miguel is in P6, Tom is in P7, Tim in P8, Shap in P9, Sion in P10, and Swifty in P11. He has not started. I don't know what's happened to Swifty, but he's just failed to get off the line for some reason. But as they go back into the lead, Jackson is still your race leader. As the top 3 have really kind of pulled away just a little bit, as Charlie's got to find a way to get rid of his 7/10 penalty. As Swifty still hasn't pulled away yet, so we'll just leave him there. Jackson is your race leader, Charlie in P2, Barney's in P3, and Robert is up into P4, Tim's up into P5, Buller is quite close. Tom is forced onto the grass by Miguel there. Whoa, that is very questionable defending. We need to see what's happening there. As the bottom 5 drivers are really holding each other up, and that's allowing the top 4 to get away, really. As there is a gap between, a sizable gap between Robert and Tim, about 1.5 seconds. So Tim, with 2/10 of his penalty left to serve, really needs to get a move on. As you go around the parabolica to end lap 1, and Jackson, your pole sitter, is still in the lead of the race. Charlie is up into P2, still with 4/10 of his penalty left to go. And Bunnies is in P3. As Jackson, there's a problem with Jackson. What's happened to Jackson? What has happened to Jackson? He's just lost the lead of the race. What is going on? He's in P4 now. It looks like the front of his car is damaged, but what has happened to Jackson? But Charlie is now your new race leader when Bunnies is in 2nd place. We're going to try and talk to Jackson later to see what the issue was, but for some reason Jackson has damaged the front of his car, which is very, very weird. Charlie has no damage, as Charlie and Bunnies are now fighting for P1 as they go around the Curva Grande. As they navigate the turn, they navigate that quite well actually. As Robert is up into P3, and that does promote Tim up into P4. He's still got 1/10 of his penalty left to serve, but he'll be able to get rid of that pretty easily. And Jackson is in P5, Miguel is in P6, Shap is in P7, Tom is in P8, Buller in P9, I don't know what's happened to him. And C1 in P10, Shifty is unfortunately, Shifty and Yano, probably with various issues, unfortunately is not in this race so far. As the battle for P1 is quite close actually, it is very, very close. As they go for Ascari now, Adrian, a bit of a slide there. As I really do apologise for this, but I really wish I could just change. So I really do apologise for this, guys. As Charlie, your race leader, 1 second gap to Bunnies out in 2nd, who is a further 1.5 seconds in front of Robert, who is 1 second in front of Tim. And Jackson is right behind him, your pole sitter. I don't know what happened, an incident that we missed off camera, unfortunately. And unfortunately, I believe that Yano's internet crashed. And he's calling for a restart, unfortunately. I don't know what don't know if the drivers will be in favour of that, if I'm honest. But as we have Tim and Shap fighting for P7, I think, no, not Tim, Tom and Shap fighting for P7. I think Tom stays in P7 there, as Miguel is still in P6. Jackson is all over the back of Tim Coronel for P4. Jackson, your original pole sitter, can he go around the outside this corner? Yes, he does. Jackson is up into P4, and he's now going to hunt down Robert, who is currently in P3 in his nice Volkswagen Beetle. As Charlie's poured a bit of a gap from Bunnies, if I may say so myself. Yeah, I really wish I could change the camera angle, guys, but I can't. I do apologise. Yeah, as Charlie still has 5/10 of his pony left to serve, so he's going to have to find a way to get rid of that as C1. He's unfortunately stuck down in P10. Hopefully he can salvage this. There's still 55 minutes to go. Anything can happen. So hopefully C1 can, yeah, do better. Shap is in P9 on the back of Tom, about 2 seconds behind him. Tom with his nice Alan Prost livery. Very, very nice. Alan Prost, a 4-time F1 champion, of course. Great driver. Great driver. Swifty has left the room, unfortunately. He did not seem to start the race. As Buller is in P7, your race winner in round 1. He qualified P3, but he doesn't really seem to have the race pace, which is not good. Maybe the second and third stints will get an upturn in pace, but to be honest, these drivers just need to get into rhythm, acclimatise themselves to the track, and then everything will be good. As Miguel is in P6, we know Roberts currently has the fastest lap with a 1:48.5. He is very, very close to the back of Bunnies, who is only 1.5 seconds behind Charlie. So Charlie's not pulled away, I don't think, as much as he'd like to. Maybe Jackson can catch up to this battle, whereas he hasn't pulled away from Tim either, but I don't think Tim is within range of making a move. So I think Jackson is still going to stay in P4. As I said, Jackson sets a pass at the fastest sector on of all. As Tim seems to get a better exit from that corner, or Jackson closes the door quite aggressively. It looks like he closes the door right aggressively, he may not have, but it looks like it. And he maintains P4 and Tim all over the back of him. Miguel is really running his own race in P6. He came 4th place last time after teamwork with him and Jarno throughout the entirety of the last race, but that last is an oval. So teamwork is going to be a lot harder here, as you have Buller is closing up to Miguel in P7. And Tom with 3/10 of his penalty still left to serve in P8, and Shap is in P9. C1 is still a long way back in P10. As Bunnies, I missed that. Bunnies is now your race leader. I do apologize for missing that, but Bunnies is now into the lead. He qualified P5 and has made a 4 positions, as Charlie is now in P2. He must have made a mistake somewhere. He's gone wide around Parabolica, and Robert is now into P2, but the wider exit means he's going to be able to carry more speed down the straight. So Robert may be in P2, but with the better exit, with the wider exit, he can have more speed and the station as well, and this should be a pass for P2. Yes, it is, as Charlie is now in P2 off the race. I do apologise, guys, for this, as Jan has left the room, unfortunately, so he'll hopefully have a better, hopefully he'll be alright for the next few rounds, as Charlie with a bit of oversteer there, and that means that Robert gets a better run as they go around the curve of Grande. Robert's on the inside, Charlie on the outside. He will be the last of the late breakers. Oh no, Robert settles in behind Charlie as they break for, I believe it's turn 4, I may be wrong. As Bunnies is your race leader. And Jackson and Tim, they may be closing up, who knows? I mean, they're within a camera shot, so that's good. As Robert and Charlie are fighting through Lesmo 1, Robert with the move up into P2. Charlie drives under P3, but the front field really close right now. The front are really close, as well, they're pretty much nose to tail right now, with Bunny in the front of that pack. As Robert, ooh, he nearly goes for the move, but he doesn't. He nearly lost control of his car, but he gets in a straight line, and that gives Bunnies a bit of breathing space, and that moves Charlie up into P2, and Robert has been demoted back into P3, as Jackson and Tim are now fighting for P4. Jackson with a 4/10 penalty to try and get rid of. Swifty has left the room again. As the gap, as Bunny is still your race leader, but Charlie is now moving up into P2. I think there's going to be a theme of the race. As it goes to turn 1, as Bunny is still your race leader, but the battle for first place is really tight between the three of them. And Tim is now up into P4, but I'm sure Jackson is going to want to get that back, your pole sitter. As Bunny's run wide through there, and that would allow Charlie to retake the lead. No, Bunny's on the inside of the Lesman. No, Bunny still maintains the lead, but these three are really close. These three are really close. I don't know what's going to happen in the pit stops, but these guys are super close, super close. He's on the back straight now. Slipstream for both Charlie and Robert, and can't forget about Tim and Jackson as well. Tim's pulled him just a little bit as Charlie pulls out to the right to Rascari, and that Charlie is now into P1. Bonnie is now in P2 and Robert is in P3. Robert seems to have cut that corner just a little bit. We'll see if he gets a penalty, but Charlie is your new race leader. And he does get a 5-second penalty, but the pace between each driver, Shap has left the room unfortunately, so we're now down to only 9 drivers. C1 is now the last place driver, but yeah, the front three are really close right now. It is so hard to predict a winner as when they Charlie and Bunny's dive into the pits while Robert stays out. Maybe the free air will be a help to him. As Jackson also dives into the pits, we will be looking to interview Jackson hopefully now, actually. Jackson, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Jackson,
hello, Kyle.
first I want to congratulate you on your pole position. It was very close between
Thank
you,
very
Charlie
much.
and Buller, but you're leading the race comfortably, then I saw you drop back. Like, what happened?
There was a car on the grid that hadn't moved.
Oh,
And
Swifty, yes.
all of a sudden, I was just struggling for grip.
Yeah, it was Swifty, yes.
Yeah, but basically, I had no idea of their existence. And
Yeah.
as I went across the start-finish line, I was focusing on my gap to the other cars. I wasn't looking out for a car to be stopped from the grid. And just went straight into them, and it gave me front end damage. Luckily, no engine damage.
Yeah, because I saw you
But since
slowing
then, I'm
down, and I was
focusing on
really
recovering.
surprised. Yeah, I saw you slowing down. I was really surprised at what was going on. But you seem to be involved in you seem to have been involved in a battle with. Is it Tom or Tim? Tim, wasn't it? You were involved in a battle with Tim for P4. How was it battling with him?
Yeah. It was good.
Clean, fair
It was
racing.
nice, but both of us were struggling on our tyres.
Yes.
So both of us were doing our best to keep it clean, but there was moments where we were going wide, moments where we were cutting the corners. But at the end of the day, there was nothing that I saw that was bad. I know from speaking to some of the other drivers, I know that Buller has had some issues with other drivers at the start of the race.
Okay, alright.
So he's on a comeback as well.
And are you
I'm currently
confident that you can still win this race?
Yeah, I'm confident I can still win.
Alright, well...
I've dropped down to 5th, and
Yeah.
my car is, I would say it's the quickest car by a solid amount
That's,
at the start of stints.
Yeah, but Robert
Whereas-
is into the pits now, by the way. So he stayed
I'll
out of
probably
extra
come out ahead
lap.
of him.
As Tim, I believe, is also
His
into the
first
pits.
stint, yes, so is Tom as well.
Yes, so Charlie is now in the lead with a 1-second penalty. We have Bonnie's in P2 and yourself, I believe, in P3. So
Yes, my car's so quick at the start of stints.
Yes.
End of stints, not so much.
Yes,
But at
very
the start
nice.
of stints, I'm very quick.
Yes.
Yes.
Very nice livery. Well, I want to wish you good luck for the rest of the race, and hopefully you get that win. Yeah, hopefully. Alright, good luck. And that was Jackson, who is still confident that he can get a P1, as now Bunny's into the lead as Charlie served half of his 1-second penalty thus far. But Jackson, Robert in all of that has lost a heap of time by going the extra lap, so he's 10 seconds behind the race leader. Has Buller pit? Buller has pit. So Buller, who was in P8, is now in P5. So the undercut is really, really powerful around here, and the top three have pretty much pulled away now. There's your Bunny's your race leader, Charlie in P2, and Jackson, who you just heard from, your pole sitter in P3. Each of these drivers probably do believe that they can win this race, as Jackson sets the fastest sector that we've seen this race so far, so we will stay on board with him as he goes through Ascari now on this nice long straight coming up to the Parabolica. As of course there is a point available for fast lap, of course, currently held by Robert with a 1:48.5. As Jackson said, his car is very fast at the start of stints, at the end not so much, but the undercut did work considerably around here as the gap is so big. So will any of these drivers set the fast lap? Bunny sets a 1:48.2, but Jackson sets a 1:48.1, and that is a new fastest lap of the race for Jackson. The new tyres are really coming in handy right now, as you have Robert, who is quite a way behind in P4, as he's got, for some reason, the penalty symbol is on his car, even though it says 0 seconds to the penalty. Anyway, regardless of that, yeah, it's got rid of the penalty now, so it's just a very minor amount of penalties. As, yeah, Robert is really full. Robert was fighting for the lead with Charlie and Bunny, who's now P1 and P2 respectively, but he's really dropped off, so the undercut is really, really powerful around here. So Robert now knows what he needs to do to get back into the lead. The undercut, clearly, the undercut is the best strategy as Shap has joined the room. Unfortunately, he's not able to race. There's only 9 drivers left, as Miguel is currently in PA. He's only 2 seconds ahead of C1. So there could be a battle there for PA, as Miguel's windscreen wipers are on, even though it's dry, but I'm not going to question that. As we have Tom, who's currently in P7, he's all on his own as well, 4 seconds behind him. As, yeah, Tom with the Alan Prost livery, he's got 8/10 of us, he's got an 8/10 of a second penalty looming over his head, so you got to slow down and get rid of that. So you have Tim, who's also on his own as he goes through Ascari now. Tim, I believe, is second place in the F1 side of the Torpedo League. I believe he's second place at the Constructor Championship. Tim is a very fast driver, so I'm sure P6 is very disappointing to him, but as the races continue, I'm sure he's going to build up his speed. You know, maybe Monza's a weak circuit for him, but yeah, I'm sure he'll be disappointed right now. But like I said, there's still just under 3 quarters of the race to go, so anything can happen. There's your Buller in P5. I think is he catching up to? Well, Buller was about 5/10 of a second slower than Robert that last lap, so Robert seems to be pulling away from Buller. Yeah, Buller did have a fast lap than Tim that lap, so I think Buller is comfortably settled in P5. He's slower than the car ahead, but faster than the car behind. So I think P5 is where he's at right now. As Robert is currently in P4. Best of the rest, maybe? I don't know, because the front 3 are fighting as of right now. Charlie's in the lead, but Robert, he's in the clear air, so as long as he pumps in those consistent laps, then yeah, as long as he puts in those consistent laps, then he'll be able to catch up to the rest of the field. Goes through the second Lesman now onto the back straight. Robert was fighting for first place, but because everyone pit before the 3 drivers had him pit before him, they got the undercut and pulled out a massive gap. There's Jackson with 2/10 of a second penalty there, and we have Bunnies is in P2, and we have Charlie who is in P1. Yeah, they still haven't pulled it, as Jackson is 1.2 seconds of the penalties now, so that is not good for him. As Bunnies has, well, Bunnies and Charlie they have really similar pace actually. Their fastest laps are, well, not similar, but yeah, they seem to have similar pace anyway. So it'd be curious to see who can come out on top, as there's 42 minutes to go. It's still a long way to go, but yeah, the pace looks very similar. Jackson is obviously no slouch either. He was the pole sitter, so I'm sure he'll still be thinking that he can potentially win this race, as the second round of pit stops will be soon. As we look at Jackson's tyres, his front left nearly halfway half one already, need 50%, whereas Robert has better tyres, of course, but that is of course because Jackson pits first, of course. But when you compare Charlie's tyres and Barney's tyres with Jackson's looks quite bad, but sure, as the gap between Robert and the lead, the gap between Charlie and Robert is now 8.1 seconds. So it was 10 seconds when Robert came out of the pits, so he's closing in. As Robert did set a fast lap on that lap at 1:48.0, so he's got the pace. Can he close in to the rest of the pack? Who knows? As yeah, I'm sure the front three guys are probably going to have to pit soon, as the fuel looks very, very marginal for all of them. I'm sure they're able to go about 1 or 2 more laps. Maybe Jackson does look like he's struggling just a little bit. So who knows, as Charlie is still your race leader and Bunnies is still in P2, Jackson is in P3. Robert is catching them at a really quick rate actually. So don't cut Robert out of this race at all, as Buller is still in P5, Tim is in P6, Tom is in P7, Miguel in P8, and C1 is in P9. Do any of the front guys pit? No, they do not. They stay out for another lap. Jackson's tyres is looking especially worn. The left side of his car, particularly, is looking really worn. Turn 1. There's really not a lot to separate between all of them. They're really like, the pace is really, really similar, but Robert in the clear air, he's taking advantage of the clear air, he's not battling anyone. And if he keeps saying consistent lap, yes, because the other drivers in the 149s, while Robert did it at 148.6, so Robert is catching them slowly but surely, and that is very, very important. As he set the fastest sector 1 that we have seen thus far. I guess he goes through Lesmo 1 right now. The clear air is really helping him because the front three are battling. It's still the same top 3. There really is nothing to report on, as C1 is still right behind Miguel. Battling for P8. You know, none of these drivers want to finish last, so yeah, they're battling for P8. But to be honest, the battle up front is the only battle that we have on track right now, as fuel is very low for all of them, as Jackson is now down to 9/10 of a second with his penalty to be served. As Charlie is still your race owner, it does look like they're going to be diving into the pits at the end of this lap. As we go through Parabolica, we probably will be seeing everyone down to the pits, so go on board with Jackson, as he probably will go into the pits right now. The gap between him and Rob is only 3.5 seconds. Jackson stays out another lap, so he goes into the lead, as Charlie and Adrian are now into the pits. Presumably they're going to fill up with max fuel. I do believe with the undercut, Jackson is going to lose a lot of time, so it's very, very interesting, if I'm honest. Very, very interesting. As this puts Robert up into P2, Bullet is up into P3, Tim in P4, Charlie comes out in P5, Bonnie's comes out in P6, and crucially ahead of Tom, who's in P7. As Robert is now in P2. As he does say personal best. I mean, it's supposedly the far sector 1. As Jackson is clearly losing a lot of time right now to the 2 guys that pit, but with them pitting early, will that mean that they have to pit 1 more time compared to the rest of the field? This is very interesting, so strategy is key around here. Will the undercut mean they have to pit 1 more time compared to your rivals, as Robert is really closing up to Jackson right now? The gap is only 2 seconds. Bullet is a further 11 seconds behind this group, as he probably has to pit again. Tim is in P4, Charlie is in P5. Charlie and Bunnies are nearly a lap ahead of Tim already, so that's not good for Tim. As Jackson stayed out another lap, he will just about have enough fuel, I believe, to get to the pits. As he keeps struggling, the guy Robert is really closed up during Parabolica. Jackson runs right for Palabroca. Does he go into the pits? Yes, he does. Robert does not go into the pits. So Jackson is into the pits, but he would have lost a lot of time as Buller goes around Parabolica along with Tim. And where would it come out in relation to Charlie and Bunnies, who did the one lap undercut? Jackson did look like he was losing a lot of time, as he's now filling up the car with fuel, maximum fuel probably. As yet Bunny, they're gonna cross the line, and Jackson is out in P5, so he's come out of Bunny. Oh, he's not coming just behind Bunny's actually. Bunny's going faster. So Jackson, despite having a lot more worn tyres, maybe the light fuel has helped him, and he has not lost much time actually. He's only got 4/10 of his penalty left to serve as well, so Jackson is looking good for this race. As we have Robert, who is currently your race leader with a 13-second gap out in front to Buller, who's in P2, your race winner last Tuesday. We have Tim, who's in P3. We have Charlie in P4. Bunny's in P5. Jackson in P6. Tom is in P7. A long way away, and he hasn't pit yet. And Miguel, PA, and C1 in P9. Yeah, Miguel was really pulled away from C1 now, so yeah. C1 down to the pits. He's got fuel, so he's probably just going to change tyres, I believe. It does not look like he has changed tyres, they're just standing there. Maybe he's serving a penalty, who knows? But we will leave him in the pits as Robert now dives into the pits, so it'll be a good time to try and talk to him. Robert, can you hear me? Robert, how is your race going, Robert? As you're in the pits right now. Yeah, how is your race going? Well, you're fighting for a P1 earlier, but you seem to have lost time to the guys ahead. Do you still believe they can win the race? Okay. Alright, well, yeah, well, good luck. I hope you can give us a good show for the viewers, and yeah, hopefully get a good result. And that was Robert there, who had a very interesting start last time at Blooming Bay Speedway. He accidentally reversed off the line, which was very, very interesting. Yeah, he's in P5, but he has closed up to Jackson. Oh, and they are really, as Tim is really slowing them down actually, as Bunny runs wide through Lesmo 1, but he managed to overtake Tim, and Jackson is up into P3. Tim is now in P4 with very much worn tyres and a 1.5 second penalty to serve. And Robert is right behind him in the slipstream in P5, so the slipstream is going to help. The guys ahead have lost time, so this can only help Robert in such a situation. So Charlie is your race leader. And he was your race leader. Well, he's been your race leader for him, and Bunnies have been the majority of the race lead for most of the race, as Jackson moves up into P2. Jackson said that his tyres are, he does well at the start of a stint, but it's the end of a stint where he loses the most time, and I sort of agree with him, as Robert still has the fastest lap of the race, as Bunnies is now in the slipstream of Jackson. Jackson moves out to the right to try and defend the inside line, and it is what as Tim and Tom both into the pits for some setting new soft tyres and fuel presumably. And that promotes Buller up into P5, who must have pit not too long ago. Robert is in P4, Bunnies is in P3 now, Jackson in P2, and Charlie is in P1. So I'm probably going to end up doing about one more interview, probably with Charlie, and then it might interview Charlie again as the race winner. There's a Robert, well, if it depends if he wins the race actually, as Robert is closed up to the back of Bunnies, who does not appear to have any car damage. So he's lost a lot of time. Maybe he's made a mistake somewhere, who knows. But P3 is still a good... P4 will still be a good result after what happened to him. Ooh, and Robert looks down the inside at Lesmet 1, but his head's against it. As yeah, Bunny's really dropped off the back of Jackson and Charlie, who are currently P1 and P2. On the current P2 and P1 and P2 in the race. Again, they have a very, very similar pace. It's very hard to predict who will win this race. Yeah, we're very hard to predict. It's very similar pace. Probably about 2 or 3 more pit stops are still to be made, I believe. Go through turn 1 and 2, and Charlie, so your race leader, and Jackson right behind him, 5 tenths of point to serve. Charlie runs just a little bit wide there, he's onto the gravel, and that allowed Jackson to get a better run. Going through the Curva Grande, Jackson is on the outside, that seems to be the better line, as he will have the inside line for the next corner. And Jackson is now into the lead of the race, and Charlie's now dropped down to P2. Bunnies and Robert are fighting for P3 and P4 respectively, and we have Buller in P5, and Tim and Tom in P6 7 a long way away, and Miguel is also on his own in P8. C1 is in the pits. He's been in the pits for ages now, so he may have given up on the race, unfortunately. So we have only got 9 more runners, as Bunnies and Robert are still fighting for P3, but Bunnies is staying ahead only just about, but when they go onto the straight exit the Parabolica, it looks like Robert will get him. As we now go back to the front 2. And Jackson has gotten rid of his penalty, so he's now free to push all the way. There's a gap of 6 tenths between him and Charlie as they go around the Parabolica. Shap has left the room, unfortunately. And ooh, and Charlie just dives down the inside in turn 1, but he overcooks and he spun. He's spun, he's managed to get a 360 and he's going back in the right direction, but he has lost a whole heap of time to Jackson, and that has given Jackson a lot of breathing room now to just push. And that has put Charlie in the hands of Bunnies and Robert, all of them will be vying for that P2. But Charlie tried to dive down the inside there of Jackson, and it was never going to work. He braked too late. He wasn't going to make the corner. Jackson was very smart to let him dive down the inside and take the corner normally. And he is now 5 seconds ahead of Charlie, so now Jackson is all in a league of his own now. The original pole sitter, we heard he hit a stationary car that was on the grid after the first lap, dropped down to P5, and has now made his way back up into P1. And now Charlie is in the hands of Bunnies and Robert for P2. Can Bunnies go down the inside, going into Ascari? No, he settles, he sticks behind him. And Robert is all over the back of Bunnies. Can he go up into P3? No, he cannot, as a good Parabolica now. The gap is for around 4.5 seconds, I'd want to say. Just over 4.5 seconds, so it looks like those guys are closing up. It is clear that Robert has the best tyres out of the 3 battling for P2, so Robert does have the advantage. As he's up to P3, will he go down the inside as Bunnies is going down the inside of Robert for P3. As long as Bunny doesn't break 2 lane, collect Charlie as well. And Bunny's, and there's a bit of contact there. As Charlie runs wide, and that puts Robert up into P2. So Charlie is really struggling on this set of tyres right now. He must be really struggling. He's now fighting Robert for P2, as Robert has much fresher tyres. So Charlie is still in P2 for the time being, but definitely struggling. All that is doing is allowing Jackson to just pull away from them. Ooh, and there's a bit of a Charlie there. Yeah, he needs to pit pretty much soon. Maybe the pressure's coming to him. Who knows? The gap is now 7 seconds. There's a good for lesson 1 between Charlie and Jackson, who's out in front. Jackson is just able to pull away. And this is really good for Jackson, as there's only 25 minutes left to go in this session, in the race rather. As Robert is now up into P2. Yes, he is. Will Charlie fight back? No, as Bunnies is just hanging back just a little bit. As both Bunnies and Robert by the penalties. Bunny's got a 1 second penalty, and Robert's got a 5 second penalty now. As it seems that Charlie is, well, it seems that Charlie, I wasn't looking, I do apologise, Jackson to the pits, and it seems that Charlie and Bunnies have had a coming together. I do apologise for missing that, but I was distracted. Yeah. It seems that they had coming together, and that has meant that Robert is now into the lead of the race. This Bunny is into the pit, is going to fill up, I'm sure. I don't know what happened, it was right in front of him on screen, but I missed it. As now Bunny is now out of the pits. Charlie also, Jackson has come out in P2, Bunny's in P5, and Charlie is out in P7. So it looks like Bunnies has taken on less fuel as he runs wide at turn 1. As Tim is now fighting Buller for P3. You see that Bunnies took on less fuel than Charlie, not by much though. As Buller completely runs wide at selected 2, and has he spun it? I don't know. Yes, he has spun it, and that promotes Tim up into P3. So drivers are making quite a few mistakes. Right, thus far. As Rob is currently your race leader, but he's going to come to the pit soon as Jackson is in P2. The gap between Robert and Jackson is creeping up towards 11 seconds. Robert is going to have to come into the pits in the next 2 or 3 laps, I'd say, in his Volkswagen Beetle. There's Bunnies is currently in P5 and Charlie is still in P7. So there clearly was a coming together between Charlie and Bunny, so neither driver is going to be happy with that. As I'm going to attempt to go on board with Charlie as he navigates this first corner. As where is Charlie? There he is. Charlie, can you hear me? What happened? How did you fall so far back? Yes. That's fine, that's fine. Okay. Yes. Ah, okay. Okay, alright. Well, you were having a good race before that. You still believe you can salvage podium, maybe? Okay, alright. Well, he is in the pits now. He was 10 seconds ahead of Jackson. So I will let you know where he comes out. Yeah, well, he did pit a lot later than you guys in the first stint, so well, how many times do you expect to pit before the end of the race? Okay, well, Robert is now out in P4 ahead of Bunnies. So yes. So yeah, so when Tim and Bullet pit, you'll be P4. So you believe P2 is still possible? Okay, alright. Well, yeah, yeah, I think we'll roll with it, I think. It sounds right. Well, good luck for the rest of the race, and hopefully you get that podium. No problem. As you heard from Charlie there, so yes, there was an incident between him and Bunnies, as Bunnies unfortunately broke a little too late to get into Parabolica. But again, there seems no hard feelings, unfortunately. Yeah, maybe the tire wear was obviously very, very bad as well. So yeah, who knows? So if they do have to pit one more time, they have to pit around the 9-8 minute mark, I think. As we have Miguel, who is now in the pits, currently in PA, so he's not had a good race, unfortunately. Apologies for the black screen to all the viewers, by the way. And C1 is in P9. He's out on track. Finally, he finally left the pits. C1, my hero. Not my hero, but you only left the bloody pits, and he's not out on track. He's lost by a long way, so he's not going to have a chance. Jackson is currently your race leader after after hitting a car on the start-finish straight and dropping out to P5. He's made his way up to the top step, but with 18 minutes to go, will he stay there or will he not? As you have Robert, or Tim, who's in P2, has not stopped yet. He'd probably have to stop twice more. So I think he's out of the equation. And Robin P3, Bunnies is in P4, and Charlie, like he said, he's closing. He had to go to the Bunnies, and he's closing up. So this battle between Bunnies and Charlie is for the final promotion, for the final podium spot. So yeah, both drivers will be looking to get a podium. As Charlie did get, I believe, P2 in the first race. So yeah. Oh, and Charlie with a bit of a slide here. He's currently pushing Bunny's who's currently in P4 with 3/10 of Pony still to serve, and Robert is in P3. Tim, who is probably going to pit since he has literally no fuel at all. Yes, he does pit. And this will move Robert up into P2, Bunny's up into P3, and Charlie up to P4. And he should come out in P5 ahead of Buller, who was the race winner in round 1. Yes, Jackson with a 14 second gap. Bunny's runs wide at turn 1 there. So he's going to lose loads of time to Charlie there. Yes, the gap is only a second now and is closing rapidly. Tim is command P5, Buller is in P6, Tom in P7, Glenn in P8, and C1, unfortunately P9. There's only 15 minutes to go, 15 and a half minutes to go. And Jackson, who's your race leader, is comfortably out in front, and he's about to lap Miguel. Jackson is well, Jackson's a bit once, 2 more times. Who knows? Maybe. So goes through Parabolica now. He's going to have the sit stream of Miguel. Will he set a new fastest lap of the race? No, he doesn't. Well, Robert set the fastest lap. I apologise for missing that, by the way. As Bunnies and Charlie have really fallen far from the lead, and yeah, this will be the battle for P3. As to be honest, with the way that tyre wear is looking, they may have to pit. Both may have to pit 2 more times. And then Robert will only have to pit 1 more time, so it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out, if I'm honest. The Bunnies is still in P3. This is the only really battle on track right now. Charlie is right behind Bunnies for P3 going on the Curva Grande. Yeah, there's a really battle track right now. It's Tim and Buller. Tim, Buller, Tom, Miguel, and C1 are all in leagues of their own. Even Jackson, who still has not lapped Miguel yet, which is very, very interesting. So Bunnies and Charlie are the only drivers that are really close to each other. So as Bunnies runs wide through Lesmo 1 there, that will invite Charlie to get a good run through Lesmo 2. Will he think about going down the inside of Ascari? He's got the better run. He pulls out the shit stream, he pulls back into the shit stream, then he pulls out again. He's on the left of Bunnies. Will we see a change for P3? It looks like we are. Yes, we are. And now Charlie is up into P3. Charlie is up into P3 and Bunnies is now dropped down to P4. As Jackson's lead has dropped down to 10 seconds. Jackson surely is going to pit at the end of this lap or the next. It depends how long. Well, on Jackson put on lap 19, so he did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He did 6 laps. So will Jackson be able to get with 1 more pit stop or not? As Bunnies is also now come out of the pits and is in P6, so he's going to push and try and do the undercut. As he's only 6 seconds behind Charlie, so I'm very curious as to, he's put a lot of fuel as well, so I'm very curious as to how he's not that far behind. Oh, Charlie's off the pit as well. That's my mistake, I do apologise, I'm an idiot. Yeah, Charlie's kind of pulled away actually from Bunny, so it looks like Charlie's going to get that P3 unless he makes a major mistake. The Buller is in P4 and Tim, who is in P3. The gap between Robert and Jackson is only 8.5 seconds now, as against Robert goes Ascari and Jackson is coming to Parabolica. Jackson is probably going to have to pit at the end of this lap. Yeah, Jackson does have this pit at the end of this lap for that, and he will now relinquish the race lead to Robert. Yes, Robert now goes into the lead of the race. Jackson, the pit engineers are filling his car up with fuel, probably max amount of fuel. Only 71 litres of fuel, maybe. As he comes out in P2 behind Miguel, and the gap is about 10.5 seconds between. As Jackson runs wide at turn 1. But he's got rid of his penalty, so Jackson now needs to give it the beans and push like crazy. Robert looks like he's only got one more stop to make. Jackson maybe has another stop to make as well, so I'll be curious to see who ends up winning this race. The race is not all over yet, as C1 is in P9, unfortunately, the last of the runners. And I said Tim is only going to have to stop one more time as well, but the guys like Charlie and Bunnies will have to pit one more time as well. So could we see this could be an interesting last 10 minutes. We'll come out to the 10-minute mark. This could be an interesting 10 minutes. Then there should be an interesting 10 minutes to the end of the race. The guy between Robert and Jackson is now, or just beyond, is now 9.7 seconds. So Jackson is closing the gap. And that is the good thing. Jackson needs to close that gap up. Jackson rounds the parabolica. And Robert is still out in the lead of the race with 9 minutes to go. So yeah, it does look like Robert's going to pit one more time, but Jackson and co, as Tim is down to the pits, it looks like Jackson and co are going to have to save fuel towards the end of the race, as Tim is filling up with fuel, and he is now out the pits, and he has actually come out in P3. So okay, I said he comes out in P3. Charlie, of course, he has more speed, and there's a yellow flag. Who is that for? We do not know. It looks like C1. Yeah, C1 is spun. Of course, there's no safety car in this game, so yeah, as Robert is now only 2 seconds ahead of Jackson. There must have been a mistake by Robert somewhere, because the gap was not that big. Charlie is in P3, Bullet in P4, Tim in P5, but Charlie and Bonnies may have to pit again. So could we see Tim get into P5? Who knows? Who knows? As Charlie's got 8 tenths of penalty left to serve, and the gap between Jackson and Robert is only 2.5 seconds. Robert will be coming into the pits in about 3 or 4 laps, maybe. There's only 8 minutes to go in this race, so if I just whip out the trusty calculator, if I just look at Robert's times, for example, so I just do 149 multiplied by 5, 745. So there's about 5 more laps to go in this. 4 or 5 more laps to go in this. Robert will probably not be able to make it to the end of the race. Will Jackson? Jackson does look like he'll be able to end the race. So it does look like they'll be able to make it to the end of the race just about, but yeah, because they only go about 5 laps before they have to pit again, so it's going to be very tight for everyone. As the gap between Robert and Jackson is now only 1.5 seconds, so it does look like Jackson is going to take the lead of this race. As we're going to look over Jackson is clearly the faster driver. Yeah, he's faster, and yeah, he moves into the lead. So Jackson is now up into the lead of the race with 6 3/4 minutes to go. There's a yellow flag. Who could that be? Probably C1, I guess. Yeah, it's C1. Charlie's now in P3. But yeah, there's like Robert's going to pit again, so yeah. This will be very, very interesting. There's only 6 minutes left to go in the session, or in the race rather. As Jackson runs Parabolica, and he's going to go onto the long straight as Robert is going to dive into the pits for the final time for some fuel and tyres. Charlie's got a 1.2 second penalty and Tim is now in P3. There's only 5.5 minutes to go. Will Jackson and Charlie and all the others have enough fuel? Who knows? As Robert is come out in P2. So he came out in the position he was in, so he's not lost position in that regard, but Charlie is now right all over the back of him. Of course, Charlie hitting first on warm tyres, but Robert's on the fresh tyres, and Charlie's got 1.2 second penalty to serve, so it looks like Robert will be able to get P2, and Charlie's now got to worry about Tim, who's right behind him in P3. As Charlie goes, does he think about moving around the outside? He runs wide and he takes the escape, not the escape route, he cuts the corner. He's surely got to let Robert through. Yes, he does. And he's now got a 1.7 second penalty for his troubles. And Tim has got 1 to the second penalty. So Charlie, it looks like his race, it's like he's not going to get the podium he wants unless he can tactically get rid of the penalties without losing too much time as Tom dives into the pits for one more time, really. There's 4 minutes to go. Showing a yellow flag will be C1, yeah it is. Not a good race has C1, they just spin in the gravel, okay let's just ignore that. Miguel's in P8. Tom's in P7, Buller is in P6. Cashing Bunnies is in P5, which is where he started. And Charlie has now got even more pennies, so this is not good for Charlie actually. As you have Jackson, your race leader, going around the Curva Grande right now. I think there probably is only about 2 more laps to go. He really was a fast driver today. He had the pace we saw in qualifying, although even the qualifying was close between everybody. Jackson was reported, and he was comfortably leading the race. If it wasn't for that incident at the start with the car that was stuck on the grid, then he wouldn't have fallen back into P5 and he wouldn't have had to work his way up through the field. But it just shows how fast he was compared to the rest. And while others made mistakes and could come in battles, Jackson was able to pretty much stay incident free, and as a result he is set to take his first win of the season, even though it's only the second round. He's set to take his first win of the season on Monza, one of the fastest circuits in the world in terms of speed, so I'm sure you'll be very happy with that. So yeah, it does, after this it does look like there'll be about 2 more laps to complete about 2 more laps, as Tim is now up into P3 and Buller is really catching up to, actually he's not really catching up, Bunny's in a league of his own, not a race of his own, sorry. And Buller's got 9 to the second penalty as Miguel spins out, unfortunately, but he's so far behind he's not going to lose any positions anyway. So, as Jackson is across the line with about 2 minutes to go, so he'll be able to complete 2 more laps, and he will make it on fuel and tyres. So he's driven a very good race. He kept calm. He was mistake free, and as a result he's going to win this race. Going on the Curva Grande now. Robert, who had a good fight back in round 1, he's going to finish P2. Tim and Charlie are still fighting for P3, but still Charlie's got to and there's a bit of Charlie there, and that is allowing Tim to just pull away. So it does look like there is going to be Tim who's in P3, and Charlie, He was fighting Bunnies for P1 in the first half of the race, but he just seems to have fallen away from him. He wanted to get podium afterwards, but unless some minor miracle happens, it doesn't look like he's going to get it, as he runs wide there, and he's probably going to get more seconds added on to what he's originally got. Yes, he does now, 1.7 seconds, and Bunnies is about 7 seconds behind him. No, he's 7.5 seconds behind him, so he's not going to worry about anyone behind him, at least, as Robert is set a fast up with 147.8, as there's only 30 seconds to go. As we go on board with your race leader, he's got just a very small amount of penalties to serve, to get rid of, and he's done that. As he comes on the parabolic car, he's got a 17-second gap, so it looks like he's going to be the only one who's able to do one more lap. So if I'm correct, then we'll just cross the line. He's going to do one more lap, but he may be the race winner. I don't know, because the timing is very weird in this, I think. As Tom is into the pits for some strange reason, I don't know why. As time is up now, this is Jackson's final lap, and Robert crossed the line, and he is set 147.6, so he's got a fast lap point. But the time is over, so that means that Robert finishes in P2, Tim in P3, Charlie in P4, Tom in P7. Bunny's going to finish in P5, Bullet in P6, Miguel in P2 and P9. But here is your race winner on his last lap. It's been a very good race. He's shown that he is the fastest driver around Monza. Robert did have good pace as well, as evident about his fast lap, but Jetson did look the most comfortable. He didn't make mistakes, he didn't get caught up too much in battles, and like he said, at the start of every stint, that's when he's at his best, and he's taken advantage of that. And he is your winner of round 2 of the Gran Turismo Sport League. He's already celebrating. He isn't cross land, but he's a worthy winner, I think. I think he deserves his race winners. C1 is doing C1 things. We love C1 around here. I was going to go on board with Jack. I was going to translate to Jackson now. Jackson, congratulations.
Hello there, Kyle.
Congratulations on your victory. How does it feel to win by such a very big margin?
It's good. It feels good.
Showing off for the fans, eh? Hey, I love that.
Well, you know, I've lapped the entire field. I might as well.
You have lapped the entire field. Yeah, it's really dominant performance.
Not legitimately, but
not legitimate, but yeah, for all intents and purposes you did. There's only 22 seconds to go. But yeah, how'd you feel?
Very good, very good. That was a tough race. I thought it had all gone when I hit the stationary car, but you know, it came back to me in the end.
Yes, and after
just the pace of this car really pulled through it today.
Yes, and after a disappointing first round, this is just what you needed to get your championship back on track. Well, your championship back on track. So yeah, well done, well done.
Thank you. Yeah, not the front of the championship yet, but a win's definitely going to put me near the front.
Yeah,
definitely within reach. Now we're at the proper circuits, like your proper racetracks, not your ovals. Now I think this car can really pull through. Although top speed was key today. It
was very key, and yeah, you kept your head when others made mistakes, so I think that was important as well.
Yes.
Consistency. So yeah, well done. Do you have any last words before I end the stream?
Thank you to those who've watched it, actually, that'd be nice. And to say thanks to the other drivers for all keeping the racing there good today. I didn't have any issues with any drivers. I know some others did, but from my view, it was a clean race. Yeah, the incident with the car stationary wasn't great, and obviously, hopefully we'll look into that. But I'd just like to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to win here. Don't know, it could be my only win of the season. This car's top end speed is immense, and really the only other top end speed track that I can think of was Blue Moon, and there the car wasn't too great.
Okay.
The win that I'll be looking for the most is Brands Hatch, a home race.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for giving us this amazing race.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good race. So So anyone that's still watching, join us for the F1 race tomorrow around Silverstone, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, so tune in for that, and I will see everyone next Tuesday for round 3, which I believe is around Spa. So yeah, thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.